Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, this is just a little bit of housekeeping, channel update. It touches a little bit on politics, but that's almost unavoidable these days. So what I just want to talk about is what I'm doing to try and increase the amount of revenue that I get out of doing these videos is I've I opened up a Buy Me a Coffee account. So you're going to find down in the description there's a link to Buy Me a Coffee, and if you like a video, and you feel generous and you want to support that, you can click on that link and make a contribution. Another thing that I'm putting down in the description is a link to the contribution page for the nonprofit organization that owns the newspapers that I shoot for. And if you're feeling generous with regards to independent media, and especially maybe if you're in the Chicago area and you want to make a contribution to that, that'd be great, because that helps them pay me. And why am I doing this? Well, a few things. And this is where it gets a little bit into politics. One, tariffs, which this last week has been pretty interesting, rather in some cases hilarious, because our economic expert-in-chief, and I say that facetiously, out of the blue just decided to slap tariffs. I shouldn't say out of the blue, but decided to slap tariffs on our closest friends, our neighbor to the north, our neighbor to the south, 25% tariff across the board. And what happened? Market tanked. What a surprise. I mean, if you go back and look up the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, you will see that just made the Great Depression worse. So, of course, he backed down on that because there was a complete economic freakout, especially on Wall Street. However, who knows if he, is going to do this again? And why does this matter, to me? Well, I had this interesting conversation with the executive director of the nonprofit that owns the papers that I work for, and we actually still publish print newspapers. And where does newsprint come from? It comes from Canada. Yeah, lots of forests. They make paper. That's where newsprint comes from. So, fortunately, they have a rather large stock that they've already purchased, so any tariffs wouldn't affect that. But if they reinstate these tariffs, 25% cost is going to go up. And of course, that could be passed along on the cost of the newspapers, but that only happens when subscriptions renew, right? So it's kind of a major issue. Now, the other thing, besides that, so fingers crossed that he has learned his lesson and he will not impose tariffs again. It's just stunningly stupid. I'm sorry. If that makes you mad, too bad. But at some point, it's got to get through your head that he doesn't know what he's doing. All right, moving on. This whole Elon Musk and Doge thing, and they are laying off workers at the Social Security Administration, which, by the way, is illegal. They're civil service. He is not a government official. Nobody voted for the guy. What does that mean for me? Well, I'm on Social Security, and if that goes away, that's going to be a huge issue for me. I mean, I make a fair amount on doing photography, but it is a third to sometimes a half of what I get from my Social Security, which, hey, I paid into it every paycheck of my working life. So that's the deal. Elon called it a Ponzi scheme. They've been calling it a Ponzi scheme since its inception, I think. I mean, that's just the thing conservatives say. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It is old age insurance. Guess what? Everybody's going to need it. So, if that goes away, that's a big problem for me. So, therefore, Buy Me a Coffee. Don't know if that's going to make up the difference. Probably not. But, I got to do what I got to do. So, putting that aside, You know, I have been pretty busy doing photo shoots. I have a photo shoot tonight. Right now is municipal election season, so we have these candidate forums going on. So we have a school board forum for the district that covers Oak Park, Illinois, which I no longer live there. So that candidate forum is something I'll be covering. Personally, we've been having protests in Chicago, several in Federal Plaza. So I have been photographing those for stock. And again, you know, it's doing what I can do to increase my income. Interestingly, those are up on Alamy, and they're getting a lot of attention. I'm getting a lot of views. And usually there's a lag between views, because I can tell when somebody's clicked on an image to enlarge it, there's kind of a lag between that and those actually licensing. But and one already has. One actually already has license. I just happen to find it through happenstance, but it's already been used. That's cool. So that's where things are at. I am going to continue to talk about photography. I will occasionally address, you know, the current situation that we have here in the United States. There are big protests planned for March 14th, 15th, and 16th in D.C. Doubtful that I will be going to that because it's kind of a big deal having to travel down there. But I'm sure there'll be others in the Chicago area, and I will cover those. At some point, I will start putting up images on YouTube as far as some of those protests, but that's where it's at. Next video, actually going to get back to talking about an equipment change, because one happened. I say happened. I did buy a new piece of equipment, mainly for photojournalism, so that'll be coming along in the next few days, so stay tuned. Again, there's that link for Buy Me a Coffee down in the description, so have a look at that. If this is interesting to you, bop the like button. Any comments or questions, leave them down below, but of course, if you're going to leave a comment that's unpleasant, it's not going to get through. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you next time.